Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So, hi, ladies. Okay. We miss you, and we're doing a special recording for you. It's just me and Lori here. So Lori and I both decided that we would record this for you so that you would have it. Not something we're going to do every week, but so we were just talking about the difference between presence and alignment, which is a really great conversation. And Lori's question really kind of made me think too. But we were talking about how presence is when you are fully present in the moment, and breathing can do that, deep breathing, but also when I do things like I go for a walk in nature and I'm smelling all the smells and I'm feeling my feet on the earth and I'm feeling so grateful to be there, right? Or painting brings me into the moment. And yeah, Lori, if you want to share yours was great.
My power animal is an ocean creature, and obviously for a prairie farm girl, that's a little tricky to have a true connection with. But we went to Mexico in October, and when we were in the Cancun airport on the way home, the kids had said, "What was your absolute favorite thing of the whole vacation?" And for me, it was those couple days where I just uh, floated in the water. I wasn't snorkeling or swimming. I was just floating and connecting with my power animal, and I could just hear her and feel her joy of me being in the ocean and really being able to have that connection and strong enough that I can hold on to it so that when I'm home here back in the prairies, I can still get back to that place in my mind.
Yeah. And that reminds me too of when I was in BC and just sitting on the sand, watching the sunrise, just wiggling my toes in the sand, and that presence can bring you into alignment. But I feel like we need to consciously shift into alignment, to consciously make the decision that I am aligning my heart with the universe, with the earth, and stepping into that column of light. I don't know, maybe other people have different thoughts on that, but I just wanted to fill you guys in on that, because we talked about writing on those spheres of the Metatron's cube, and the way that you bring yourself into presence, or the things you do. Yeah, perfect. The things you do to bring yourself into alignment or into love. And so Lori was working on that. So cool. Did you finish it, Lori?
I did. Yes.
Awesome.
I did.
And there's just something about writing it down in a visual that helps you remember, right? And when you're having that day where it feels like a slow burn, you can pull it out and go, good. Do you get though that sometimes when I got down, I would often listen to podcasts that were uplifting, and like Abraham Hicks or something like that. And there were days where I'm like, I don't want to listen to them. Right. And I don't know if you guys ever get that.
Oh, well, I'm writing in every morning. I do the morning meditation with you, and I write in my gratitude journal. So I am consciously choosing what my day is going to look like. But I'm not gonna lie, there's some days where I'm just like, screw that. I don't even feel happy enough and good enough to meditate and journal. And the thing is that if I did do that, it would work harder at pulling me out of that funk. But sometimes it's just, and I think part of that lesson is, have that day, let it wash over you, get through it, and then you're back on track again the next day, because you just can't be completely totally on board 7 days of the week. I can't anyway.
No, I agree. I agree. And I don't think we're like, I think that's okay because we're human, right? Like we're human
Mm,
beings here and we're moving through a lot of energy. And especially right now, I know I keep saying that, especially right now, it just seems like it doesn't ease up anymore. It's just this constant. And there's a lot of people that are spiraling and like we're watching them, a lot of people around me, and
mm,
it's just so hard to watch. And so I think boundaries are really important, and not expecting yourself to be, you know, in that perfect vibration every
mm.
day, right? Mm.
And, I don't know if it was this could be entirely my imagination. I feel in the last week since I joined this group and did my readings, and I'm slowly slogging through the 55th key. I actually really love it, but it's really heavy. So sometimes I just
Yes.
have to stop and reread it for like the second or third time. Um, but I felt more like a pendulum swinging this week than I had before, and that part in the book about shape shifting really spoke to me, as the pendulum swinging with the shape shifting, and I had to work really really hard at I don't want to sound unkind, but blocking people's energies of people that I love, love, love more than anything in the world, but they're really struggling. And there just seems to be a handful of them. And I just couldn't, it was just, I felt it too deeply. I felt it too much. I just had to block them.
Yeah. Oh well, and you know what? They'll find their way, right? But
Yeah.
I totally understand. And when you talk about the 50-15 key, that's so cool. Because it is, there's so much in there, like so many topics. We could go on and on talking about it, but oh my gosh, for me, there was a message in there of like, this is happening. No one's getting out of it. And it made me feel like, ah, so like there's no, you can't get it wrong. Right? Like it just eased things up. And also the feeling of like, it's not just, sometimes we take on what we're doing too heavy. And it was just this sense of like, oh, okay, this is happening. It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Right. And I can lighten up and I can have days where I just relax and read a book or whatever. You don't have to be so in there. Okay, let's go. Let's
On.
heal the world. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And
Total.
I couldn't believe, uh, like, I just my whole body tingles with energy when I'm reading that 55th gene key. Like,
Right?
I don't remotely understand it. I'm not smart enough to get it yet, but I know it has to be phenomenally powerful and important because I don't just read something and my entire body is zinging from head to toe unless it's something that has to be super powerful and important.
Ah, that is so cool because you know what? When I took the coaching program, there were women in there that said that exact same thing. Like when I read it, I just vibrate. And I didn't experience that. I just was reading it and going, oh, that's cool. This cool. Like this is really great. But I didn't experience that. So it's very cool to hear you say that. Um, and I love that it's the great awakening, the great change, and that
Mhm.
we are here right in the middle. Like we get to see it happen. And I mean, it may take longer, but when they talked about 2027 being kind of the shift, and then I heard someone else, another channel, he had said that the channel that comes through him had said that the end of 2026 into 27 there was going to be something that was going to happen that was going to really change people's perspective, like open everybody up completely. So I was like, oh, I wonder what that is.
And I really, really liked when I was reading it and it was saying, yeah, this is happening right now. You're right in the middle of it. And this epic change. And it's interesting because I'd been talking to our kids a little while ago about phones and trying to explain to them the concept of a one telephone with a 50-foot long cord in your kitchen that your whole family shared. And when I was little on the farm, it was a party line,
Right.
right? You had like two short rings and a long was yours. And so, for our kids who've cell phones, they can't even fathom that. And you just think of this phenomenal change in like just even 50 years.
Right.
Look at a phone, the concept of a telephone.
I know.
And then I don't feel as bad when I can't keep up with anything technology. I had to go into Dodge to have them resync my phone, and the man said, "Oh, you can just do it, through your own cell phone." And I just said to him, "I don't have any kids who live at home anymore. Not capable of that. That's why I'm coming to the Dodge dealership because there's so many changes so fast." And then
Yeah.
you read this and you're like, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And he wrote this what like it was published, I think I read that it was published in 2019, but he got this download, like it took him 8 years to write the book, let alone publish it. So it's not that he wrote it last year, right?
Yeah.
And then he talks about like look at the changes like from 1987, from that harmonic shift and right up to 2027. It's like we're right in the middle of all of that excitement. So it's like it's happening, and this is to me it's very exciting, right? And I loved the analogy of the dragonfly, like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm dying to ask the other girls if they found this. So a dragonfly is, to my knowledge, really not remotely been a part of my world virtually at all for my entire lifetime. And this summer, all of these dragonflies were coming into my life. Like and Ross's too. Enough that we were saying, geez, this is really weird. Like dragonflies in our backyard, landing on our deck, coming in our house. My aunt from California brought me flowers in a vase decorated in
Oh,
dragonflies.
how cool
My
is that?
girlfriend Patty, who you and Teresa know, gave me a random gift of earrings, dragonflies. So
Oh,
then when I had Ross bring home, because he'd used his printer at work, because our printer, we only have two printers of which neither work. And then it says the dragonfly's dream for the 55th. I just like literally screamed. I said
oh,
to Ross,
that's
oh my
cool.
gosh.
And where did
So,
I put my painting here? Can you there we go. See
oh,
the dragonfly at the bottom right there?
yes. Yes. So, I mean, that is just literally blowing my mind. There has to be something really important about that because it is every time I turn around. There's a dragonfly symbol or yeah. I was just like, "Oh my god, Ross, look at this. Look at this piece of paper."
I think somehow we need to squeeze in painting a dragonfly into this whole thing. That would be
Oh, I
fun.
think so too. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, it's so
Well,
exciting.
I'm going to read you this quick. So this was a card given to me also this summer. Dragonfly. Having flown the earth for 300 million years, dragonfly symbolizes our ability to overcome times of hardship. They can remind us to take time to reconnect with our own strength, courage, and happiness.
That's so cool because in the
It's
Gene
so
Key,
true.
yeah, it says the key to transcendence is your attitude.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it says. It's like it's it's stepping out of that victim of circumstance and taking full
Mm-hmm.
responsibility for the situation. And you know, there's layers to that. They do say there's layers of complexity to it, but that's the whole thing, right? And that's what we're doing here in this unstoppable dream. It's like we're stepping out of the, why did this happen to me? I've struggled for so long, and this and this and this what happened, and it, you know, we went through bankruptcy, it threw us back. Most people at our age have, you know, so much more, and you know, but now it's like, oh no, these things happened for me. So they helped me become who I am today and rising up. So it's like, oh, I love it. Anyways.
And I think that victim piece, that's what's so important, right? And it took me a lot of years after, you know, my divorce to not be a victim,
Oh, me
right?
too.
And then when you get back that, you know, past that, my life changed and for the better. And I even look at my health frustrations, and I that really spoke very powerfully to me when I read that, is that, you know, to get through them, you have to first not see yourself as a victim,
Yeah.
recognize, you know, the sacred contract, you chose this, yada 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 yada,
Oh, yes.
pick yourself up and move on.
Oh, and you know, for years and years, I was resentful of people that inherited money or grew up with parents that supported them, because I was like, you don't get it. You don't know how hard I've had to work. Like, we had nothing of that, none of that, right? And so yeah, I get it. It's like took me a long time to let go of that victim consciousness and step into the, you know what? This has been a gift. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, should we watch the video? Should we
Yes.
watch I'm going to share my screen and my sound so that, and I gotta unplug my microphone here. All right. Where'd my screen go? There it is. Okay, so here is kind of the shape that we're going after. So I'll back this up a little bit. Woo. So this is layer 1, and she's going to show us in the video too. But basically we're going to draw a cross on our page. And you know what I kept drawing wrong was I got the circles vertical, but then I kept going across horizontally, and that was throwing me off. So notice they don't go horizontal, they just diagonal. But anyways, so she'll walk us through this. So it looks like a flower in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And so then it expands into this, right? So we can do this. We can do this. All right. So I'm gonna go through the video first. Find it. Here it is. All right. Load this up. And let me know if the volume isn't good. Here. Give it a minute.
Hey, how are you? Okay, so we are starting our I Am the Unstoppable Dream mandala.
Bit
canvas.
quiet, but it doesn't look like
I
there's
am
anywhere I
choosing to
can
use
turn
an
it up.
unstretched
Okay.
30-inch square piece of canvas. You can use any square canvas. So the first thing we're going to do is draw a big plus sign on the canvas, and we will take it from there. There are two ways to do this layer in our mandala canvas. In this first part of the video, I'm going to demonstrate using a pencil and our compass to create the circles. And then in the next part, I'm going to demonstrate how to use a bowl or a plate to trace the circles. So 2 different ways, but for both ways, you want to first divide your canvas into 4 equal sections by drawing a plus sign down the middle. So I happen to have a drywall you know, straight edge. This can be super loose, like don't worry about it so much, but you want to get these 2 lines on your canvas for each section. So in this one, I'm using the compass, and since my canvas is 36 inches square, and we're going to have 5 circles, right, going up and down, I went ahead and made the circles so that they'll be just a little short of 6 inches in diameter. So that's 7 inches. And I am simply drawing that first column of circles. So now to create the circles on the side that radiate out diagonally, it's not a perfect diagonal like another plus sign overlapped. So if you're using a compass, which I have not done before, I realized you kind of have to draw the flower of life to get to the point where you can tell where to put this next circle. And I felt like it was supposed to go perfectly at that cross point, but it doesn't. So just understand that using the compass creates another opportunity for you to practice patience. And it may take a couple tries and a little mind bending, but I like having the flower of life design in there, right? So you can see that I'm just going around that center circle and creating enough circles, just like we did from the flower of life, from those intersections, until I can tell where the center of the circle is that I need to get to that fruit of life
So
symbol,
don't panic. In the next video, she shows you how to do it just using a cup.
We create
Okay.
Electron's cube. Right.
So this is if you want to do the flower of life.
So again, you can choose to use the compass, or in the next part of this video, I will show you how to use the plates. What we have found by putting this level of structure at the foundation of the mandala is that the mandalas just, they vibe differently. They are have way more of this unifying. It was probably the first time I painted a mandala that was symmetrical, was when I did my first Unstoppable Dream mandala. I love that mandalas are a sacred symbol that has been found in every single culture ever. And there's also lots of writing about how when you place wishes, desires in the center of a mandala, that it is struck with the boosters to your manifesting ability. So now I am connecting the centers of the circles on the diagonal so that instead of continuing on with the flower of life, I can line up the compass to draw the outside circle on these diagonal lines. So now I have the penciled version, and then in this example, I'm going to show you how to use a bowl. For this option, you want to find a bowl or a plate that will fit right on your canvas. So make sure you check it out. And then again, you follow the straight line up and down, and then go around that center circle, and then you take it diagonally out. So when I did the diagonal out with the bowl, I could tell it was not perfectly lined up. So make sure your inner perfectionist is okay. Like that tracing I just did, I actually will adjust that a little bit. So there's the version that I did tracing the bowl, which took about a quarter of the time for sure. And then I don't have smudgy pencil lines anywhere. And those diagonal lines in there are lines I didn't need from another project, so I tried to disguise those, but I decided to illustrate both options. And then here's the one that I did with the pencil, and then I just freehand went over the circles with a paint pen. So this is the beginning of our I Am the Unstoppable Dream mandala painting, part 1. So get your canvas to this point, and then we will take it from there. So happy you are here with me.
Oops. Okay, what did I do? Okay, I'm not sure. I'm gonna play the second video just so we have it, because I'm not sure what it is. I can't remember.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay.
This is such a beautiful experience, and so I invite you to create sacred space in whatever way comes to you right now. If you have crystals, wonderful. You could light a candle. You can play music, burn incense. You can gather objects that are special to you, that are high vibration, that remind you of things that you love, things that you're grateful for. Everything that you will paint onto this canvas will be there forever. Energy remains. So after you create your sacred space, you can use paint to bring in the 6 spheres of wellness. So you can paint the words love, compassion, courage, alignment, gratitude, and presence in any way you feel called. You can paint the words right into the circle. You could use markers or paint pens or use the pencil. Anything at all. And set the intention that this canvas is going to be a container of, like a big satellite dish receiving your unstoppableness. This is a symbol of you as the vehicle for your unstoppable dream self. So treat yourself to this time. Maybe you're able to do it all in one sitting, or perhaps you spend time each day on each of the different spheres of wellness. Hold on loosely to how you think it, quote, should, end quote, be done. See what comes to mind as you prepare your space and label the 6 spheres of wellness. There's no right or wrong, and I cannot wait to see all the different ways you all create this first layer of your unstoppable dream mandala. The next step is to write, paint all the things that you love, or at least a wide variety of things that you love. Create a predominant level of awareness around the things you love. Search your being, perhaps, for things that don't automatically come to mind. What are the little things you love? What are things you love to do? Places you love to be? People you love? Times of your life? I am using watercolor markers as well as paint. So really, whatever you have handy. Do know that Sharpie markers can show through, like come through the layers of paint. So I typically do not use Sharpie, but it can be perfect to have these words coming through the paint. And after multiple layers, it is always works out perfectly. So what is it that generates compassion for you? Write all of these things down. It doesn't matter if they're spelled correctly, if they overlap. You can see I painted with paint things that I love and that generate compassion over the markers. And then I loved just using a wet brush and picking up the paint and the markers from the other places. I just kept moving my crystals around. I felt called to leave them on the canvas the entire time. And then just continue to courage, alignment, gratitude, and presence. Celebrate all the things you're grateful for. Commit to living at new levels of alignment, of releasing that which no longer serves you. And allow this awareness to activate within you a new sense of being, of love, of belonging, of safety. You are coming home to yourself, to your unstoppable self. Hi, wow, what a magical painting ritual. I just want to share with you all that you can trust the way this process is coming to you. You can release any fear that you're not doing it right, or that there is a right or a wrong way. When you let go of those fears, you can allow the experience to flow through you. You can be present. We're going to paint over all of this. Right? So call in your own version of magic. Bring yourself present. Celebrate even the 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Release any attachment to a schedule or how this process is meant to unfurl for you. Allow it to be big you, the infinite, the you that is Eve, the you that is all of us, to simply receive this experience. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to be unstoppable.
Do a bit of lip reading there. Okay, hold on. Okay. Let me just get back to focus here.
Okay, so those videos are in Teachable. So if you need to review them, which I might have to if I'm going to use the compass.
Yeah.
Go back to that first one. I couldn't remember how she did that angle. But that's where we want to get. And then the next time we actually paint, we start adding color, is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So we have lots of time to play.
Oh, good. Okay.
With this. Yeah. And then in next week we start initiation 2. So the 5th lesson in initiation 2 is adding color to our mandala. So yeah. Okay. I'm going to hold on one second.
So you say next week we're adding color, but then you said we have 5 weeks before we're adding color?
Oh,
sorry,
no,
I'm mixed up.
that's okay. I'm going to show you next week. We're not adding color. Let me just share this again. Share this screen. Oops, sorry. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm going to share my screen again and show you. So this is the Teachable program, right? Where we are.
Right? Yeah.
So we're in lesson 4 and initiation 1. There's contemplation prompts here for you as to work on your own. So you can click into those to get ideas of journal prompts. But so next week we start initiation 2, which is love and fear. So lesson 1 is the spectrum of love and fear. And then there's 2, 3, 4. Lesson 4, we're drawing the flower of life, which we're kind of doing right now if you're using a compass. And then lesson 5 is our mandala, adding color. So each of these is 1 week. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And the drawing of the flower of life, we can we can do that, and we can also just talk too, right? So because we're doing it already. But
If you use the compass, you're doing it already.
yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I just wanted to double check. I can't remember. I think I can just let me just jump here for a second.
Canvas for each section. So in this one, I'm using the compass, and since my canvas is 36 and made the circles so that they'll be of circles. Diagonal, like another plus sign overlapped. So if you're using a compass, which I have not done before,
Okay,
I
so she
realized
went
you
to
kind of
that
have
one.
to
I
draw
got it.
the flower
Okay.
of life to get to the point.
That's where I
where
wasn't
you
sure, right there. So I'll just stop share and then talk about that. Okay, so I couldn't remember if Let me put it on this one. Oh, you can't see mine very well. Well, when we were to do the circles on the angles, like she said, keep drawing the flower of life, and I wasn't sure where if she put her compass point right where the horizontal line in the circle.
Right, exactly. Yeah, good point. And where did she?
She did, I think she did this one. Now I'm looking at it going, oh, that I'm not sure.
Oh, I'll have to rewatch that
Yeah, I gotta
again, or
too.
many times again.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the vertical point between the middle circle and the circle above it. I put it on that point where they meet, and now
Yes,
where that crosses over, I can start to
you can see where the petals start to form.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
You can't even see my canvas very well, so it would be better to follow her. Definitely follow her video rather than me, because I don't really know what I'm doing as much as she does.
Well,
I've
I
done
only
it.
got the cross done the whole time. All I did was get the quote plus sign, as she
Yeah,
called it. So,
I got the plus sign and my 5 vertical circles,
yeah.
but that's about it. So yeah, I've done the flower of life several times, but I kind of have to play with it first, and I've done it where I've demonstrated in my dream mandala courses, but I needed to play with it. So, but she's right. There is something very powerful about actually getting your Metatron's cube or your mandala started using the compass compared to
Okay.
using template circles. And you can use the template circles. I've done that many times, but then I found that when I started drawing the flower of life and then making Metatron's cube out of the flower of life, because that's kind of the foundation, there was just a different level of frequency to it. And
Okay.
I feel like I'm cheating now if I do it the other way. I feel like it's like
Interesting.
not powerful enough.
I
So
can understand that. I can see that because, like I had my Ross's big beer stein. That's what I was gonna be using because it had the largest opening. But it kind of reminds you as playing with your children where you're tracing something, right? Where I can see how the compass will definitely be more challenging for me because I don't think that way, but then there's going to be more of my energy being put into it too.
yeah. And I bought this compass online, and it locks
Oh
in
yeah.
place. So there's a dial in the metal that makes it go wider or so I was using the cheap dollar store ones, and they kept
Yeah.
moving, and they were so frustrating. And this one is like really solid, and it doesn't slip or move. It locks it in place. So
Okay,
it was
I'm
really
I'm
worth
gonna
it.
have to get that because that was my fear is that I just think of using it as a teacher and as a
Mhm.
mom, like it slides and slips and drives me crazy. So
Yeah.
I would just like put in the words essentially locking compass.
Or
in there.
compass, and you can see, I think it was like
Okay.
$9.95 or something like that.
Okay.
They're not even that expensive. It came the next day, so it was really quick. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. So if you try drawing the flower of life and you're frustrated, it's probably because the compass. The other tips I was told is make sure, like, it has lead in here, not a pencil, so it's lead, but make sure that it stays sharp because for preciseness.
Oh,
Because the duller it gets, then it starts, even those tiny little millimeters start
yeah.
to add up. But like we said, in this painting, it doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Right.
So Yeah.
But
it's
you're
not-
talking like the refillable leads. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's
it
what.
came with
Yeah.
lead, so I'm not even sure what I'll do when it runs out. So, it must have
Perfect.
refills in there somewhere anyways. But
Oh, I'm sure Amazon does. What
Right?
does Amazon not have?
they have everything, right?
I know. And I bet you love living in town and getting it so quickly.
Oh my gosh, it blows my mind. Some of the stuff, some stuff, it comes, you can tell it's coming across borders. So, but yeah, it's like, what? It's here? I just ordered it at 3:00 yesterday and it's here this morning. So, how do they do that? I don't know.
Well,
But
I'm really grateful after watching the video that I have just by the grace taken the mandala painting course from you and the dream mandala painting course, because
Right.
otherwise, this I would find this really stressful because I
Right.
just don't have the confidence and the perfectionist part. And so I was like, oh, I can, see, I can understand those little pieces of the puzzle that I can put together that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. And I started using the Metatron's cube for my dream mandalas now too. So
Oh.
very powerful. And she even says that in the beginning there, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. So that's fun. Anyways, okay, so we're set. I need to play with this and get it right. I can see my circle is off already. It's driving crazy. Oh well, but I'm just gonna and the other thing that if you draw the flower of life, the other thing that I learned was always go in the same direction. Like if you're going clockwise, continue to go clockwise. Because I tended
Like
to
when you're saying when you draw your circles?
when you're going to draw the next circle. So
Oh.
continue to go around because you're putting your compass point on the vertex of where two circles have crossed every
Yes.
time and drawing your circle and then finding the next vertex and drawing your circle. So this person said keep going in the same direction if you're going clockwise, because I was like, oh, there's a vertex, draw it here. Oh, there's one over there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it gets kind of confusing. It still works out, but it does go smoother for you if you keep going clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever works for you. Yeah.
That's good advice, because that would be me. Like,
It was.
squirrel. I would be jumping
I
all
think it's
over.
just part of us as creatives, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Lori, for letting me video this tonight for the girls. And hopefully everybody's back next week. Next week we start Love and Fear. So if you can read that part or watch any videos. I don't know if there's any videos in there or not. I'd have to look. I can't remember. So but pre-read and then see how love and fear are connected or not connected. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds great. Well, thank you very, very much, Janice. Oodles of love to you
Thank
girls.
you.
I can't wait to see you
Me
next
too.
week.
Yeah,
Thank you,
me
my
too,
dear
you
friend.
guys. Everybody get better and feel good.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.